Hey folks, rinimt here, and welcome to the demo for Merry Crisis. Merry Crisis is taking part in the Choose Wisely festival taking place on Steam from December 8th through the 15th. So go check it out. A bunch of cool games, discounts, demos. Just go check it out. Anyways, let us begin. Player setup. First, you are a woman. You were born female. There are 3 elemental characters in the game, all of them gender selectable. We'll go with all elemental characters are men. Prologue of the arrival. December 23rd. You sprint down the street. There had been an early sprinkling of snow 2 days ago, and the streets are still slippery with patches of black ice. It's absolute madness to be running full tilt the way you are, but nobody bats an eye. New York City is full of people who are late to something or another. In your case, your flight to Singapore is in less than 3 hours, and you can still grab your stuff from your apartment. Let's slow down enough to avoid falling flat on my face. You figure that if you end up as a roadkill, you definitely won't make it for Christmas dinner. Your mother's already mad that you're visiting for only a week, so you don't want to know how she'd react if you didn't come home at all. You're a yard from your apartment building when 2 very familiar hairy things burst out of the front door and charge towards you. They leap straight at you, yapping noisily, knocking you off balance. You take a step back, right into a patch of ice. You flail frantically in the blind hope of catching a nearby railing. Well, fortunately, someone catches your arm before you faceplant into the sidewalk. It's Nat, your housemate. I'm so sorry. Kehoe and Liz dashed out before I could clip their leashes. The dogs wag their tails and beam at you, completely unrepentant despite their role in your near-death experience. Liz, the more exuberant of the 2 dogs, chucks a saliva-coated toy bone at you and waits expectantly. I'm never too busy to give the dogs a good pat. You technically have no time to spare, but you've never been able to resist these 2. You toss a toy bone for Liz and give Kehoe a pat. Liz scampers off happily in search of the bone, and even Kehoe gives you an imperious bark of satisfaction. Nat smiles at you, gaze lingering. Even now, it seems Nat has not quite lost his easy affection for you. This might be an opportune time to mention that Nat also happens to be your ex. 4 weeks ago. The breakup had been amicable, mature. You had both simply been moving in opposite directions, or so Nat had put it anyway. You stand in the kitchen of your shared apartment, reeling from all that had been said and left unsaid. The radiator hisses unevenly in the corner, working overtime to fill up the silence. A half-drunk mug of tea sits between you, long since gone cold. You had sensed that Nat hadn't been happy for a while now, but you hadn't realized it had gotten this bad. Breakup bad. I love you, but we can't keep going on like this. Something sharp and desperate claws at your throat. Are you even happy with me? I'm not unhappy, just been too busy and distracted. Truth is, you've been so busy with your own career that you'd stop paying attention to what was happening between you and Nat. Perhaps in some way, you'd willfully refuse to see the warning signs because you thought your relationship with Nat was too good to fail. The last 4 years with Nat have been some of the best years of your life. Stupidly, naively, you've had genuinely expected those good times to last forever. Nat reaches over and takes your hand in his, smooth and warm and big-knuckled. It's a gesture that's so familiar it makes your heart ache. Nod silently. I know a dead end when I see one. As much as you wish things had worked out between you, you've lived long enough to know that sometimes things just don't go the way you want them to. You know a dead end when you see one. The 2 of you stare at each other from across the table. Silence stretches between you. You curl your fists, feeling your nails dig deep into flesh. A part of you wants to cling on. Was there anything left to save? A month after the breakup. You're still living with Nat in the same tiny apartment. You know the sooner you move out and move on with your life, the better. You've already packed your things into neatly labeled boxes, and you've been scouring websites for apartments to rent, but New York City's rent is sky high. As a late 20-something-year-old without much savings to your name, there just aren't many options. Boxes continue sitting by the door, a reminder of the home you'd built together. I've tried to move on. You see it in Nat's eyes sometimes, moments of weakness where he's unable to hide the weight he still feels for you. You, though, steel your resolve. Perhaps you've always been a little too clear-thinking, a little too sober-headed. Sometimes you wished you were more reckless, more wildly optimistic. Instead, you merely watched the relationship teeter on its last legs and pragmatically lay it to rest. A car honks loudly. The sound of traffic transports you back to the cold street, breath foggy in the December air. You realize that you've been standing on the sidewalk for a minute now. It's beginning to snow. The snowflakes have begun to collect in Nat's hair. Reflexively, I lean to gently brush the snow from Nat's hair. Before you realize what you're doing, you reach out to gently brush the snow from Nat's hair, tucking a stray strand behind his ear. You hear the soft intake of breath and your fingers graze his ear. Nat blinks, cheeks coloring slightly in surprise. You pull your hand back, wondering if you've crossed the line. But Nat's gaze is warm, and it makes you wonder if he, too, is thinking of all the winter holidays you'd spent together, making snow angels, sipping hot chocolate by a window. For a moment, you can just about pretend you're both 21 again, college seniors, still in love and full of hope for the future. Space between you seems to crackle, but the silence is a thick layer of hard-packed ice. It's Nat who breaks the silence first, setting Kehoe down next to him. So, when's your flight home again? 2.5 hours. The change of expression worthy of a 60s sitcom, all the color bleeds out of Nat's face. What? Need a lift? Nat's always looked out for you in more ways than one. Some things never change. Give Nat a grateful hug. Thank you. You pull Nat into a hug. Nat lets out a small sound of surprise, but a second later relaxes into your arms. You breathe deeply, inhaling the familiar scent of Nat. For a moment, you can almost pretend that nothing has changed between you. The thought brings a warm sting to your eyes, and you step back, blinking quickly. Thanks, Nat. I really appreciate it. Nat's expression is gentle, but you catch a flicker of something you can't quite decipher. It's no problem. What's the point of a holiday if you can't even use it to save? Nat falters a little at this, but soldiers on. Housemate in a time of crisis. The hesitation when Nat said housemate makes your heart constrict. En route to JFK. Nat's one of the few New Yorkers you know who owns a set of wheels. You spent countless weekends exploring the small towns along the Hudson River, hiking in the nearby Catskills, going on road trips. You've been driving through a blizzard to Quebec, singing terrible pop songs at the top of your lungs, crunching through a whole bag of snacks when you first realized how in love with Nat you were. It was then that you thought you might have found your forever person. As though reading your mind, Nat turns to glance at you at the next stop sign. What do you say when your family asks what you're still doing in New York? You'd expected to return to Singapore after college, but you started dating Nat in senior year, so you found a way to stay a little longer. 1 year led to the next, and before you knew it, you spent nearly 3 years in New York after graduating. Singapore's where I grew up, but New York's starting to feel like home. Singapore's where you grew up, but never quite felt like a life you'd chosen. In New York, with a million other transplants to the city, you felt a little lighter, free from expectations of what you should do, whom you should be. Nat had never pushed you to settle in New York for good, but you'd been considering it. At first, you'd stayed in New York because Nat was here, but as time passed, you've come to think of New York as home too. Even now, a part of you still wants to stay in this city. I don't know, Singapore's where my family is, but you let out a long exhale and look out the window on your side of the car. There are pieces of Nat everywhere in New York. Restaurants and bodegas and parks and street corner markets that remind you of him. Or perhaps you could reclaim each piece of the city if you had to. I'd build a life here too. Nat stared at you for a long time, curiosity mixed in with the pain. It feels like the song is not quite looping. I hear like the starting point. It'll be nice to still have you in the same city. The traffic light turns green again finally, and Nat starts the car up again. You watch the snow fall. In a couple of hours, the snow will turn to a nasty, squelchy mess. For now, though, it's beautiful. Sort of beauty that's made all the more precious because it won't last. After sliding to a spot at the airport drop-off area, Nat glances over at you. So, I'll see you when you get back. You nod, but make no move to reach for the door, despite the fact that you're already on the verge of missing the flight. You can't help but think about how many times he had driven you to the airport over the years, kissed you goodbye, told you how much he'd miss you while you were gone. Yeah, I keep hearing, like, the start of the song. Because there's, like, just this little, like, boop as it, like, restarts or something. Like, I don't know, boop, but like a little click. There's something soft and unguarded in his gaze that makes you want to lean in. Nat reaches across the center console and takes your hand. Your breath hitches in surprise. Merry Christmas and enjoy your week back home. It's a terrible idea. Say goodbye. You squeeze your eyes shut and force yourself to take one big inhale and exhale before you turn back to Nat. Merry Christmas, Nat. You get out of the car, heart thudding in your chest. You've been a whisker away from a bad decision. A day later. December 24th. You wheel your luggage into the lift of your public housing block. Doors are about to clang shut when someone dashes toward you at full speed. Calmly press the door open button. With commendable composure under pressure, you reach out and press the door open button. These old lifts have a mind of their own. The lift doors continue to close, but the person continues to rush forward. The lift doors cling shut around the boot. A second later, the doors jerk back open. The person strolls in, grinning at you. Thanks, didn't want to wait for the next lift. So eager to get in the same lift as me. The man lets out a low musical laugh at this, then moves in closer to you, the dark eyes dancing with amusement. Well, I'm glad I did. You just have to press the button for the 11th floor, the one you live on. You put two and two together. This must be Shay, your neighbor's new tenant, the one your mother complains about in every phone call. The company he brings home, the late-night jamming sessions with his bandmates, the muddy mountain bike tracks he leaves in the corridor. You study the man in greater details. The lift starts trundling upward. He's tall, wearing ripped black jeans and a sleeveless red tee which shows off strong shoulders, defined muscles, tan, sun-kissed skin. There's a guitar case slung over his shoulder. When you return your gaze to the man's eyes, you realize you've been caught staring. He winks at you. Like what you see. His voice is low and playfully flirtatious, and you can definitely see why your mother disapproves. Sorry, I've heard a lot about you. Shay, right? Shay's eyes lift in surprise, then realization dawns. I've forgotten how to speak. All right, your mother talks about you all the time. Claims about how I left home, no doubt. Shay's smile broadens, among other things. Your conversation is interrupted by a loud ding as the lift arrives on your floor. You step out of the lift into the corridor after Shay. You spent countless afternoons kicking a ball back and forth along this very corridor with your brother. You catalog the changes since the last time you've been back home for Lunar New Year. It's been more than 8 months since then, much to your mother's disapproval. For one, there's a new row of thriving plants extending from your family's unit to the one next door. Shay smiles at you and gestures down the corridor. Want to be introduced to the fam? You blink. A split second later, you realize that he's referring to his plants. Sure, why not? She introduces each plant to you in loving detail. The finicky orchid, the indestructible ZZ plant, and the drama queen fiddle leaf fig. Finally, Shay waves at your family's sad bougainvillea that's been neglected for years. Maybe you could give this poor soul some TLC while you're here? I'm only here for a week. Oh. Shay's face falls slightly, but he quickly recovers. We'll make it count. See you around, neighbor. You continue on your way down the corridor to your unit. I'm home! Your mother rushes out of the kitchen to smack you in the arm. Why? You should have come back a week earlier. Stayed a week longer. 1 week! Pathetic. Not even enough time to binge watch a K-drama. A second later, she pulls you into a brief hug. She's never been particularly physically affectionate, but she does hug you each time you come back home to visit. You return the embrace. In your arms, she feels smaller and thinner than you remember. Your dad comes running out of his room with a commotion. He, on the other hand, has grown quite a belly. There you are. Should let's pick you up from the airport. No need to waste money on a taxi. He waves a handed container from the table, beaming proudly. Eyes are proud from your favorite stall at Red Hill Market. Your mother frowns accusatorily at you, taking your ravenous expression. Sometimes I think you come back for the food more than for us. Your dad shrugs. I'm happy as long as something works as bait. Where's Dee? He's out for lunch with a friend, again, on Christmas Eve! She makes apostrophe marks with her fingers at the word friend, and shares a meaningful glance with your father. You take this with a pinch of salt. Your mother has a habit of simply assuming things that she'd like to believe. You're unable to stop yourself from thinking bitterly about how your parents have done the opposite with Matt, continuing to refer to him as a flatmate months after you told him about your relationship. I suppose it was just easier than confronting the fact that you were dating a black American instead of a Chinese Singaporean. Before you can sink further into these thoughts, the door swings open violently. He tosses his socks by the gate, so shay's over. Something smells amazing. Can I have some? Mother rolls her eyes and mutters something about bottomless stomachs, but waves everyone over to the dining room. Bubble, my brother, smirking. Mom thinks you're on a date. Your mom glares at you betrayed, but your brother only laughs. Your mother's eyes light up with hope. So it's true? I can neither confirm nor deny. Your brother plonks down in the seat next to you. Every time I see you, you look older than I remember. Yeah, it's exactly how aging works, genius. Sucks to be you. I'm not the one getting dumber every year. Two of you grin at each other. You'd never admit it out loud, but it's good to see you. For the first couple of minutes, there's only the sound of utensils scraping as all four of you practically inhale the food. It's truly the best thing you've tasted in weeks, maybe months. After the feeding frenzy has died down a little, the four of you start chatting. You've been close to your family growing up, but you drifted apart after moving to New York. So, how have you been? Tell family about my life in New York. You tell them about your job, the new hole-in-the-wall Chinese restaurant you discovered, and the latest dating disaster that had briefly befallen Kenny, the son of an old family friend. It's almost as though you never left. Once you've warmed up a little, you start talking more about yourself and how you've been. The conversation turns to that, even though you had intended to tell them about the breakup, you can't bring yourself to in the end. Soon, the food has been polished off. After lunch. You're in the kitchen with your mom, helping to clear up. When you were younger, you resented the fact that your mother never really expected your brother and father to help with most of the cooking or cleaning. It's for that reason that the kitchen has been one of the few quiet, intimate places that you've shared with your mother, a sanctum of sorts. She's always been more comfortable talking to you about difficult topics amidst the cooking fumes and the sound of sizzling oil. Today, standing side by side of the sink, you can't help feel a little bit of that old closeness. You know, your father... She stops abruptly, waving her hand at you dismissively, changing tacks. Mom, we're both not getting any younger. She's been saying this for years in an attempt to guilt trip you into returning to Singapore. This time, something about her tone makes you think there might be more to it than she's letting on. Just as you're about to ask her what she means, she shakes her head and turns away. Her mother walks off to tie up the garbage into a plastic bag. When she returns, her expression is softened into a smile. It's good to have you back. I just wish you'd stay longer. You blink. It's classic behavior from her. Something almost tender, bundled up with a jab, and all distracted from what she's been about to say earlier. Frown. What were you about to say? Her mother shakes her head as stubborn as you are. Nothing. Just tell your father not to eat so much oily fried food, okay? You nod, about to follow up with another question, but your mother clamps her mouth shut. Clear signal that it's all she will say on the matter. Right as you head out of the kitchen to throw out the trash, your mom adds tentatively, So, things with you and Nat are good. You're not sure whether to be touched or there's that click as it starts the song again. Oh, it's distracting. You're not sure whether to be touched or horrified that she's finally recognizing your relationship with Nat now that it's finally over. Maintain a neutral expression. That's fine, but we're no longer together. You've never really been the type to go into details about your love life with your family, but you do mention Nat from time to time, and he features in your phone calls. Rip off the band-aid, trying to keep your expression as neutral as you can. Nat's doing alright, but we're no longer together. Your tone comes off more dead inside than the calm you'd been going for. Oh no, how come? You sigh, wondering how to summarize all the subtle ties that had little by little carried you both in different directions. I guess in the end, it just felt like we didn't really belong in each other's worlds. You brace yourself, waiting for her to say something about how she told you to date a Chinese Singaporean, but she doesn't. In fact, she actually does look sorry for you, even though her tone is gruff. With internet, there's still such a thing as different worlds. Meh. You draw in a long breath and shrug. Honestly, you're surprised at how your mother's actually trying to talk to you. That's new. Two of you stand wordlessly in the kitchen for a while, until finally you grab the trash bag and head out. Just as you're rounding the corridor to the shared rubbish chute, you bump into Shay. He's repotting one of his plants in the corridor, humming a little tune as he works. He pauses and looks up at you as you pass. He brightens as he gives you an enthusiastic wave, nearly flinging a couple clouds of mud at you in the process. Are you seeing to your plants? You draw a little closer. Are you seeing to your plants by any chance? After carefully setting the plant into its new pot, Shay straightens up and smiles at you. Or to you, if you like. To your surprise, Shay actually begins to sing the chorus of the song he'd been humming, his voice oak-timbered and rough-hewn. You roll your eyes, but can't help but smile. Alright, save your serenades for the plants. Hey, I've been meaning to ask for your number. Maybe we could hang out this week while you're here. I'd rather not. It's an American number anyway. Shay shrugs, taking the rejection in stride. Fair enough. Head back into the house. A few hours later. Much to your parents' dismay, you're spending the evening at a reunion with your junior college classmates. Dude, people are gonna be so excited to see you. It's been years. I stare at a picture of you on my phone once every couple of months, so I don't forget what you look like. You laugh. Junia's been your best friend for years, so you know just how dramatic she can be. That's creepy. Also, I haven't seen the rest for years, but I literally just video called you a month ago. Two of you continue strolling along the canal, which will take you all the way to the restaurant where you'll be meeting the rest of your classmates for dinner. At first, when you'd heard that Q would be there too, you almost canceled, but Ginny had been persuasive. It's been nearly a decade. I'm over Q. Shortly after things had gone to shit between you, you'd left for college in New York, and you hadn't spoken to him since. Still, you'd like to believe that it's all water under the bridge now. Besides, you do want to see the rest of your classmates, and you'll be damned if you let Q take that away from you. Ginny raises an eyebrow at you. Maybe it's nice tonight the two of you finally get over the bad blood between you. Take a long breath. Your mind transports you back to the first day you'd met Q. 8 years ago. You're at a party with Junie and her boyfriend Tech. At some point, the rowdy drinking games and chit-chat. Between the rowdy drinking games and chit-chat, you wander out to the pool alone for a bit of a breather. You get a couple seconds of blissful solitude before someone else slips out the back door and joins you. It's Q. You've seen him around in school, but you've never been in the same class. Need some peace and quiet? You laugh and raise an eyebrow at him pointedly. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna get it now. From there, the conversation's momentum somehow sweeps you along with it. Throughout the conversation, Q's eyes linger on you. Q's a good listener, and somehow, even though you've only just met, it feels as though you've known each other for years. Time passes in a hazy blur, thick and viscous like honey dripping slowly from a jar. People occasionally come in and out of the back door, but you barely even notice. For who knows how long, nothing pierces the bubble that forms around the two of you. Eventually, though, the party begins to empty out, and the few remaining people come streaming out of the house. Suddenly, there's a loud whoop, and the host dives headlong into the pool with a massive splash. A second later, everyone hoots and plunges in after him one by one. Cackling and cheering erupts around you. Alright, seems the madness is starting. Heading home. You? Laugh and jump into the pool as well, dragging Cute along with me. When you surface, the first thing you see is Q, soaking wet and glaring at you. A grin tugs at the corners of your mouth. Q shakes his head, pinning you with his molten gaze. A second later, to your surprise, he begins to laugh too. Q wrings the water from his clothes and tucks his wet hair behind his ears. Okay, I'm definitely leaving now. You follow him. After saying bye to the rest, the two of you walk out of the house together. A small shiver passes through you, and you're not sure if it's because of the gentle breeze on the wet skin. You linger at the front gate. There are no stars, not that you can see anyway, but the spark on Q's eyes is close enough. Seems neither of you want to say goodbye just yet. Emotion is so quick, you're not sure if you'd imagined it. You can almost swear you see Q's eyes dip down to your lips. Take a deep breath and let the moment pass. You hold back. Q continues to stare at you, but even though your heart hammers in your chest, you do not close the distance between you. Back to the present. You had fallen for Q slowly, pieces clicking into place one by one until you could no longer deny the way you felt for each other. But now, in hindsight, the sweetness of sinking gently into that first relationship will always be tainted by the memory of how things had soured between you. You and Ginny stop walking. She hasn't interrupted your reverie, but now she lays a hand on your shoulder and squeezes. Besides that, you've never told another person what happened between you and Q. Maybe Ginny guesses some part of it, though. It could be okay later if Q shows up. So if you'd like to bail on the class reunion, I know the best Burmese place down that way. You set your jaw and shake your head. I'll be fine. Let's go. Reston is all sleek black and white lines and dark mahogany. Space drums with Christmas Eve energy, clinking glasses, bursts of laughter, murmur of low conversation. You scan the sleek interior until you spot familiar faces at the corner booth. Tech, your classmate and Ginny's boyfriend, gives you both an enthusiastic wave and dashes over, pulling both you and Ginny into a bear hug. You're heading toward the table with the two of them when the door swings open again. Something, instinct perhaps, or maybe just bad timing, makes you turn to look. Q stands silhouetted in the doorway, and the smile on your face freezes in place. Time slows, Q's eyes meet yours, and all the air whooshes out of your lungs. His dark gaze is exactly how you remember it, turbulent, depthless, and frustratingly unreadable. You let your eyes trace the hard, angular structure of his cheekbones and jaw down to his tailored shirt and pants. It all speaks subtly of success and power and prestige, all the things Q's parents had always wished for, no, expected of him. You hear he's a public prosecutor now. He certainly looks like the sort of person you wouldn't want to go up against in court. And yet, in the subtle softening of his eyes as he holds your gaze, you see traces of the Q you once knew. You swallow thickly. Had Q, too, imagined this moment in his dreams 100 times? Had he rehearsed 1,000 different lines to say to you after all these years? Slowly, Q lifts his chin and his lips curl up in a wry, almost cryptic smile. I was starting to think I'd never see you again. Me too. It's been a while. Emotions surge beneath your placid surface as you stare at Q, the first person you'd fallen in love with and the first person to break your heart. But you surprise yourself by giving absolutely nothing away. You respond to your gaze's level. Me too. It's been a while. Your tone is cool. The only hint that you might be more affected than you let on is a tight, coiled feeling in your gut. Q presses his lips together and you see a vein in his neck pulse. Q pushes a strand of hair out of his eyes. You recognize a tick. He does it when he's nervous or uncertain, and there's been a time when you found it impossibly endearing. Eventually, after chatting for a while, Q's gaze slides to the table where your classmates are seated, watching the two of you with undisguised curiosity. He tilts a chin to the back exit. Can we talk outside for a bit? My throat goes dry, but I nod warily. Speaking of, hydration. hydration is good. Your heart rate quickens and your throat goes so dry that you don't trust yourself to speak. Instead, you just nod wordlessly, already praying fervently that this isn't a terrible mistake. Kyo's expression takes on an unmistakable glimmer of hope. You follow Kyo out the back door of the restaurant into the alley. The door swings shut behind you, shutting off all the noise. A crescent moon hangs like a silver comma against the night sky, barely visible between the rooftops of old shop houses. Each back door is flanked by a motley arrangement of dented garbage bins, air conditioning compressor boxes, and plastic chairs well worn from countless smoke breaks. Now, though, the alley is mostly empty, save for several lonely pigeons pecking the ground for invisible food scraps. For a while, the two of you stare each other down without speaking. Once, almost 10,000 miles of sea had stood between you and the past that you fought so hard to leave behind. Now Kyo's standing so close, you can smell the familiar scent of his soap. True to character, he hasn't changed it even after all these years. You grit your teeth and step back, trying to render his proximity less overpowering. You don't want to be reminded of sweeter times, simpler times, times when touching Kyo, loving Kyo, had been as natural as breathing. Okay, we're outside. You ball your fists to stop your hands from shaking. What did he want to say? Kyo takes a deep breath, and something shifts in his expression. Whatever remained of his hard exterior crumbles to dust in front of you. I wanted to apologize for the way things ended. You blink, palms beginning to sweat. Your heart drops to the pit of your stomach. Back then, I assumed you'd always be in my life. I was 18 and stupid. Kyo sucks in a breath. His gaze holds so much regret that your heart twists. I've never stopped wondering if things might have turned out differently if I had asked you to stay all those years ago. Kyo chokes out the words. Made your decision, I made mine. Now we live with it. You have reached the end of the demo, just like that. Based on your choice in this playthrough, these scenes will be available in the upcoming extended demo. Uncover when done with Kyo, and find out what you could possibly want to say to you now after all these years. Spend time with Nat and see if there's anything left to save. Have a follow-up conversation with your mom about what she said in the kitchen. Different choices might unlock other scenes in the extended demo. Attend Shay's Christmas performance and maybe spend the night together. The extended demo releases in spring 2026 and the full game in winter 2026. So is there a load? No? Okay. I see. Well, that is a little look at Merry Crisis, the demo that's out now. So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider tossing a like, comment, subscribe, maybe click the bell for notifications. Also be sure to check out the description below. Various links, social media, Discord, come hang out, get notifications there as well. Also be sure to go check out Choose Wisely Festival, taking place on Steam from December 8th to the 15th, 2025. Lots of cool games, demos, discounts. Be sure to not miss out. Thank you again for watching, and until next time, this is rinimt signing out. Bye!